woman. A savior is a woman, woman.
I was 22 years old when I started this children's home. It was so challenging having two families at a go, with no experience of running your own family and the children's home.
Bountiful, wonderful.
I went through challenges, through struggle, through pain, and extended I could live my own family.
There's some mistakes that you do in life and they haunt you for the rest of your life.
So remember your people, remember your children, remember your promise. Maisha Ya Ndoa.
A very warm welcome to you. Thank you very much, my dear, for tuning in to MBCI TV. It's always a pleasure, it's always an honor to connect with you on Maisha Ya Ndoa, your favorite TV program where we talk about real life stories, what people have gone through. And it is always an encouragement to hear conquerors who've been through troubles, and at the end of the day, they gave a song of joy. Well, let me ask you something. What is that one thing that your partner would do that would definitely cause you not to forgive them? Or let me paraphrase that. Is there anything that your partner would do that you would never ever forgive them? You know, they say that trust is as fragile as glass. Once it is broken or shattered, it can never be put together. But well, for us, we've got our awesome story from the very lovely couple that are together with us, and they'll be telling us how they were able to walk through the journey of forgiveness. And after this, your life will definitely be transformed. Your marriage will never be the same again. I'm your host, Super Waroi, and I'm so excited that you'll be listening to this story. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Naona mmefika. Thank you for creating time in your very busy schedules. Najua kama kawaida mlikuwa na mambo mengi.
Yeah.
Haya, mwanzo kwa kutuambia mnaitwa Mr. and Mrs. nani?
I'm Lindy Mwaluma.
Lindy Mwaluma.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Lindy Mwaluma.
Mrs. Mwaluma. Oh, Mr. Mwaluma, of course.
Yeah.
Karibuni sana. How long have you been married?
We've been married for 8 years.
For 8 years.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. What are you doing currently?
Currently, we have a children's home. We're running a children's home. We help orphan children, and needy children. Yeah.
So you have your own children's home that you run.
Yeah, we have our own children's home.
To him.
Okay.
Yes.
It all started in 08, after the post-election, when just around March 5th, that's when we came to Nakuru. And then we visited the showgrounds. There were people there in the tents, the IDPs were in the tents. And then my wife had the calling of taking care of the kids.
Oh, so when you went to the showground, because wakati ule wa post-election violence, especially in Rift Valley, people kind of rent Nakuru as a hub of peace, you know? Ili wapate kutulia pale na wakaenda kwa showground. You know, they erected tents. Mlienda pale?
Yeah, we went there, we visited the place, and it was very horrible. Because in a family, you could find like 15 people in a small tent living there. And that time it was raining. Was it raining? Yeah. It was raining, muddy, no food. People were coming to help them. And we were touched. We were touched because I remember I went to a certain tent there, and we were told there were some children there who their parents had died during the post-election, and they were left alone. So they were staying with this woman who also the husband had been killed. So they were just a family, a big family, staying together. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where we felt like to help these children. Yeah.
So at that point, wakati ule, if I'd ask, you just felt the burden. How was it? How did you begin? Were you married?
Yeah,
you had
we were
children?
married. No, we had not. We had no children.
Hamkuwa na mtoto?
No, we started in 2008, and that is when we got married, and we didn't have any children. I was 22 years old.
22 years old.
22 years old, and he was 25. years old.
So you're very young.
Yeah, we were very young,
Uh-huh.
very young.
With no children.
No children, no experience for marriage, no experience for like raising your own child,
Uh-huh.
knowing the challenges, nothing.
And you took up
But
the
we had
bigger
the
challenge.
yeah, but we had the call.
So, okay, very interesting, because most people would be very afraid of dealing with children,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
if in the case that you have never raised your own child.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm wondering,
yeah.
ilikuwa ni challenging sana, my dear?
It was challenging, but I used to work in a children's home. In my auntie has a children's home in Nairobi, so I had experience. And those children walikuwa kiletwa kwa hiyo home ya auntie. I used to feel them. I used to hear their stories, and yani I just feel them. So I had that calling that one day I'm going to have my own children's home and to take care of the children.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many children did you begin with?
4.
4.
We started with 4 kids.
How old were they?
They were 5 years. We had one for 5 years until 7.
Until 7.
Yeah.
7 years.
So the range was between 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been a very interesting experience. What are some of the challenges that you encountered?
You know, we were very young by then, and so many people used to come and see like, hey, mtatoboa kweli? You know, like we are newly in marriage, we don't know how to, we know of course, but people used to see like, we can't make it. Yeah, some used to discourage
22.
us. Yeah.
You're becoming a mother of 4 already, and you don't even have your own child.
Yeah, it was really challenge. I remember there's a time I was telling my husband, hii yenye tunapitia ni kama mtu wa 50 years ni anapitia na sisi tuko very young, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, but God helped us. Yeah, God helped us, but tulikuwa tunapata watu wanatu discourage. Some used to come and encourage us.
What would they say? The ones who would discourage you?
Will you make it? Like sisi wenyewe tuko na watoto wetu wanatushinda, you know, something like that. So we are like, hey, hao watoto wao wanawashinda na sisi hawa si wetu. Yeah. But by the grace of God and because of that calling, we could not let go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you decided to support the cause.
Yeah, unajua nampenda.
She had the calling.
Yeah.
You're the support.
Yeah.
How was that? Unampenda?
Nampenda, unajua sana nampenda na kila kitu. Plus calling yake.
Enyewe.
So everything started. We had the kids. We started in Shabab. And then eventually we shifted to Rescos.
Shabab is a town in Nakuru.
Yeah, it's a town in Nakuru. And then there's Rescos, also a place called Rescos in Nakuru. We shifted there. And then in Rescos, the kids increased up to around 8.
8. By that time, how many years had passed since you started running the children's
A year after.
A year after you had
Just
8 kids.
Yeah, 8 kids, yeah.
So by then you're 23, he's 26. I salute.
Bado sijapata firstborn yangu bado.
And you already have 8. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we are still in our marriage. Tunaendelea.
Wow, that is very interesting, and probably taking this golden opportunity to talk to you, dear viewer, that when your partner has a calling, it's very important to support, because it's a matter of not just loving that person, like he says, you love them plus their calling, plus their weaknesses and their strengths. Okay, kwa hivyo mtoto mlipata baada ya miaka mingapi?
Miaka miwili.
Miaka miwili.
Na already mko na wangapi ndani ya nyumba, wale ambao tulikuwa kama wenu sasa? 8.
Yeah.
Sasa mkapata number 9. So you never got a firstborn.
Serious. You never got a firstborn.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges you encountered while running the children's home, apart from being discouraged in terms of monetary funds and financial implications? Did you have well-wishers? Did you have people to support?
No, we have well-wishers. We used to have people from church. Yeah, they used to come to the home, visit the home. They bring unga, and they encourage us. They pray for us. They go. So that's how we used to survive. And my husband used to support the home because he opened an agent, and he used to buy charcoal. Yeah, we used to be in a family by then. You know, like we.
I had not shifted to my own house.
Yes.
So we were living together.
So it was not even their home.
Yeah,
it's
a family now. It's a family.
So you're living how many? 9 plus 2, 11.
Yeah.
Maybe plus the house help 12.
Not house help. We didn't
us.
have house help. I was doing everything
For the 9 kids.
Yes.
Hey.
They go to school because we took them in a public school. You know, we are not paying school
Pangani
fees.
Primary.
Yeah.
Pangani Primary.
Yeah, in a public school. So au tu unalipa, unabuy desk, ni wanaendelea tu kusoma.
Alafu wakirudi jioni unawapikia.
Wakirudi jioni, they find I've cooked for them food. Some walikuwa wanarudi lunch time. And wakirudi lunch time, I help them to do homework. That time my husband ako job, akikuja jioni anakuja na tusukuma na cabbage.
Wow. That's a challenge. You know, raising 9 kids on your own is not easy.
It's not easy, but by the grace of God.
Hey, I totally, and I know that my dear viewer totally agrees that was a big sacrifice, especially if you're doing all the work alone. You're the one who's buying food for them.
Washing clothes.
Washing clothes.
Washing the whole house.
Unajua nguo za watoto 9 ni nyingi. Wow.
So unapata wanakojoa kweli
unafua.
Wanakojoa hawawezi rudi kulala kwa hiyo makojo ama the smell. So you have to wash every day. You have to keep them clean. When they go to school they have to smell nice, you know.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I look at you and I see victors. And I see people who've decided to stand for God in this generation. Yes, and we desire people who can be able to stand for their calling and for God in this generation. Very moving how very young at the age of 22 and 25 began a children's home. And 1 year later, the children's home is topping at a number 9 plus their own child. And they're doing everything, practically, kila kitu. We are so blessed by that. Baba mkaendelea hivyo. Na sasa mko na watoto wangapi?
Sasa sasa tuko na watoto 23, the orphan child.
So you kept on growing.
We kept on growing. And some of the children tulikuwa tunaletewa na children's department because you find mtoto amenegletiwa pahali and hakuna pahali penye anazaenda. So they take the child to the children's department, or they call them and then for them they ask us. So we take the child in.
So it's a process. So the children's department has got to call you when they get a child that has been abandoned. And you pick the child.
We pick the child.
Wow, so it's, no wonder it's grown. That is almost twice, almost thrice. 23, 23?
23
that's a big number.
Wow,
congratulations. Mtu akiwasikiza anaona kama marriage yenu ni perfect. Yani watu wawili tu kutoka binguni wakaanguka wakaanza children's home at the age of 22, 25 wakasukuma sasa mkono watoto 23 kwa children's home. Yani maisha imekuwa tu grace imekuwa sufficient. And probably you want to know about their challenges, what they've been through, some of the things that they've been able to encounter. They say a coin has got two sides. Sasa mmetuonesha hiyo side moja. What you guys have been able to accomplish. When we come back after the break, we'll tell you about the other part or the other side, and you'll get to learn about their challenges, and you'll learn that Rome was never built in a day.
Woman, a savior is a woman. Woman.
I was 22 years old when I started this children's home. It was so challenging having 2 families at a go, with no experience of running your own family and the children's home.
Bountiful, wonderful.
I went through challenges, through struggle, through pain, and extended I could leave my own family.
There's some mistakes that you do in life and they haunt you for the rest of your life.
So remember your people, remember your children, remember your promise.
We are back and we are excited that you're still tuned in to Maisha Ya Ndoa. It's exciting what we've just heard from this lovely couple, Jack and your wife. Amazing, on point. That God has used them in this generation to stand for Him, and they have a children's home, and they began it at the very tender age of 22 years. That was her age, and he was 25 years of age. And right now, the children number at 23. Awesome. Congratulations. But like we said just before we left, every coin has got 2 sides, and we're just about to unveil the other side. For people who think marriage is perfect, for people who think that marriage is not a walk, for people who don't know there is forgiveness, this is the time to listen and open your ears that yes, there can be forgiveness. What was this main challenge that you guys went through?
Okay, for me, when I met my husband, there's this lady who he had impregnated her. And that thing really hurt me, and it took time for me to forgive him. Yeah.
Wow. So he had, there was an issue of infidelity.
Yeah, yeah.
Jack, I'm so excited that you came here to speak. To speak to a man who's been through it and to a wife who cannot forgive. What happened, if you don't mind?
Okay, this happened when I was living in Nairobi. I was in Nairobi at that time, and I was living in a plot. And in a plot of many people.
Oh, like easy.
Actually,
Mpango.
we are around 22 rooms. 22
Okay.
rooms. Yeah. So my house was my room was room number 16. And then there was a next room number 17. And there was a lady there. Okay, she was older than me. And there was a time, the first time to enter there, she asked me to go and fix on the knee in the bag.
Oh, just to help out.
Yeah, just to help out. And then I noticed that, okay, when I went, I did it, and I noticed she has a TV. And there was a program that was going on at that time, Paloma.
Oh, it was it a series?
It was a series.
Oh.
It was coming at around 8:05 in the evening.
Okay.
So at that time I watched it. So then the following day, I said, yeah, let me go and check on it. So we went like that, and then I fell into temptation. Okay, it wasn't really my will. It wasn't my will. I fell into temptation. So into the temptation, I mean. And then eventually it led, she became pregnant. When she became pregnant, a child was born.
Wow.
Initially, I thought it's not my child, because now this lady had a man, a boyfriend, but who was coming very occasionally. I mean, very rarely. So I thought it was the other man's kid. But when the kid was born, copyright, Jack.
Wow.
So I had no shortcut.
You're caught.
So I was caught. So at that time, we were very early in our relationship. She was my girlfriend at that time. I had not broken news that I'm going to marry her, but I had loved her so much. And in my mind, internally, I knew she would be my wife. So it was a process to convince her now.
What happened when you learned about that? Sasa umejua kwamba yule mtu ambaye naenda kuoana naye ako na issue fulani.
It was very tough. It was very tough, but I love him so much. And when I heard that he has a child, it was very painful because he didn't tell me the truth. He didn't tell me that the next neighbor is pregnant, and I used to go to his house every now and then to visit him. We stay together, I go home. He's not telling me that there's somebody who is pregnant. She got a child. He's still not telling me. After the child is 9 months, he's still not telling me. Until one day when I was coming from college, I remained in his house and I went to chokora vitu zake. Yeah, because now I can do anything. Yeah. So I went to the album. I started checking the album and I found the picture of that boy, the child. Yeah. So yeah,
it was a shock.
It was a shock. And before, the neighbors used to tell me, wewe Jack anakuhanya. Sikukuwa naamini kabisa. Naambiwa Jack, mama mwenye ako hapo next, Jack anaendanga hapo analala na yeye. Siamini
Jack
kabisa. When you look at Jack, you can't believe it. You can't believe.
Jack said he fell into sexual temptation. And it was very bad for you. It was very painful for you.
It was very painful. I could not believe mtoto wa Jack. I could not believe. Even if I'm told outside, I could not believe until I saw myself kwa picha. That's when nikasema, okay,
ni kweli.
Ni ukweli.
Jack, why were you not telling her? Because people in a relationship expect openness.
Okay, with this kind of situation, I was scared because I didn't want to lose her. And our relationship was very young. So I knew, okay, at some point I'll come and tell her, but when the love is a little bit stronger, whereby now we can weigh. So that was the reason.
Wow. What were you feeling at that point?
Okay, I was feeling bad inside. I really wanted to tell her, but I was scared.
What are you feeling about what you had done? Committing the sexual sin?
Yeah, it is very bad. And actually I can advise young guys please. Yeah, it's good you wait, have your girl, the one you're going to marry, and then get kids.
Wow.
Because the moment you get a kid outside of marriage, it's a big challenge. For you and your wife to come and get into terms with it, it's a serious process.
It's a serious process.
It's a serious process. Yeah.
Why?
Because, okay, it's a fight. Because for her to come and accept you, and then say now everything is okay, you have to convince her a lot. Like me, I took around 4 years to 5 years to convince her that, okay, I'm not going to go back to that lady again, and I'm not going to do anything. I have nothing to do with those ones.
4 years?
Over 4 years.
Over, actually, not even 4 years.
Over
It's over
4 years.
And it was a
4
daily
years.
thing.
What do you mean by daily?
Whenever I come back to work, from work, I'll find him amenuna. Amejam. Nikimuuliza ni nini?
Sasa your wife.
Ulishinda ukiongea na yeye. Hata unawatumiaga pesa. Hapa hata hatujakula kunywa chai na mkate. Nene,
Na wewe iliku take time kuamini amebadilika.
It took time. Yeah. So, it's very hard to forgive kama mtu hajakuambia the truth wewe mwenyewe unakam kupata.
Wow.
Yeah.
But interesting. You forgave him.
Yes, I did. Later.
After 4 years.
Later.
What was the process of forgiveness? How did you, what happened?
Okay, he used to come and tell me, nimemtoa kwa simu, naangalia kwa simu, naona yenyewe hata hajamsave, hakuna jina yake. But still believe because hata anaweza msave na another name yenye sijui. But it took time. There's a time akakuja akaniambia amemblock. Pole pole tu, and then there's a time akakuja, the lady called him and he came and told me amenipigia simu. There's a time the lady alikuwa anampigia simu.
I get it. So you began being open.
Yeah,
you did not repeat the same mistake you made.
Yeah.
You said sasa nitakuwa open. Whatever happens I tell you.
That's exactly actually up to date. I told her, actually my phone, when I go home, even up to now, I place it on the table. If anybody calls, she can pick. She can pick.
So it was a turnaround for you.
Yeah, it was a turnaround for me. I learned a lot of lessons. And that openness is really important in marriage. Yeah, anything. Hata kama itamhurt, just tell her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just tell her.
They say better the is it the devil you know or the angel you don't know? But the bottom line is openness. And probably this is a very sensitive issue. I'm so happy that you have the grace and the strength to come on our set and talk about it. Because that is what is eating a lot of marriages. Unforgiveness, infidelity, and not just that, but not being totally open. They say half truth is not truth at all. If you don't want to talk the truth, you cannot say I said it halfway. You have to go all the way.
All the way.
Yeah. So ukakubali yako na mtoto, ukaanza kumsamehe.
Nikaanza kumsamea pole pole. Baada ya miaka 4 serious. There's a time akakuja akaniambia amenipigia hata ndio hii namba yake. Akaniambia akipiga shika receive. Yaani akipiga aniletee I receive the
call.
Yeah, but I told him no. Akipiga it's okay, I believe you now. I didn't want to receive aanze kunitusi aniharibie moods. So I told him akipiga we pick. Yeah, sitaki kupick, but the way alikuja akaniambia nika have kumtrust.
Wow.
Yeah. I started forgiving him completely and trusting him. And again, prayers.
Important. Maombi.
It's important to pray for your marriage, to pray for your man. Yeah, because I used to pray. It was very hard because alikuwa anakuja ananiambia nimeachana na mama, I don't do anything. Lindy, why don't you believe me? And I look at him. Aki used to, why don't you believe me? He's like, huh? And me, I'm like, oh, okay. I could not believe him.
Yes.
So it went pole pole. Until, by the grace of God.
And prayer.
I used to pray. Because I love him so much. I used to go to church. I ask God, please God, I cover my marriage with the blood of Jesus. I pray that you may help us remove this woman away from our life.
Yeah.
You know, it's very painful.
Yeah.
Do you know it reached a time, sorry to say this, by the way, I'm sure even kuna watu huko nje wana feel vile nilikuwa na feel. It reached a time I used to say, mtoto amekuja kutuharibia marriage yetu. God take that child away. Ama God take that woman away. Ama they were talking. Yeah, so that tukae na amani. Because kama si hao all the time calling inakuumiza roho, you see. Yeah, it reached a time I used to pray that.
And now?
I used to
what do you feel about the child?
And now it reached somewhere I told Jack, please, huyo ni mtoto wako. One day atakuja kukuhitaji. mi sina issues, sina maneno, you go ahead. I told him that, nata hakuamini.
Wow, so
and
you
now
are
I'm
able
very
to
okay.
totally what I
Yes.
want probably
I
for
have-
you to put across to someone who's watching, a woman who's watching us, or a man,
Yeah.
and they feel their partner or their loved one has totally wounded them.
Yeah.
The message here is that yes, you can forgive. And I asked a question when we were beginning this show. Is there one thing that you cannot forgive your partner for doing? And it comes out clear that forgiveness is a choice.
Yes.
You can decide.
Yes.
Useme hata kama ameniumiza ama tumekuwa na shida,
Yeah.
nitasamehe.
Yeah.
Nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
Jack ukasamehewa.
Nikasamehewa. Actually it was around 2 to 3 months ago. Ndio aliniambia Jack, what don't you think about your son who is outside there? Mbona usimwambie akuje?
Kwa hivyo wakati ulisikia hivyo ukajua amekusamehe.
Nikashtuka kwa sababu unajua I didn't expect that kind of thing. Ati nende niangalie huyo mtoto. Nikamwambia okay, the problem is right now there's no way I can find them.
But she was willing
She was willing.
to let you see them. So that
Yeah,
means
to see
she totally forgive you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we were on our break. You mentioned there are days angekuja anapata umepack kila kitu.
Yeah, I used to pack and go. I pack, anatoka job, anakuja anakuta nimepack manguo,
That was before forgiving.
Before forgiving.
Mama, ndakuamini aje? Kila siku unanidanganyanga
Unataka
na
tunaweka
mpaka
simu kali
simu.
nilikuwa?
Si alikupigia simu jana?
Na wewe si
Naenda.
Anything I bought in my house, hata kani
Glass, kikombe,
I
and
pack everything. Because I know that lady will come, na watatumia my it was that painful, you know.
Yeah, hiyo uchungu.
It was that
wa mwanamke.
painful. Yeah, ilikuwa uchungu kabisa. So I used to pack, I pack my things, I wait for him, anakuja anakuta nimepack, hata aongei sometimes. Anakaa na breathe. Anakaa chini kwanza.
So one mistake could have cost you a marriage
You can lose your loved one.
because of one mistake.
For instance.
And probably there are some people who are watching us and they are wondering, hey, yani kumbe hii mambo ya mpango wa kando ama issues
inaweza
kwenda
pressure.
hivi inaweza leta pressure kidogo kwa marriage.
Sio kidogo.
Ehe.
Serious pressure.
Ehe.
It can bring a lot.
When you'd find her almost packing, so ulikuwa unajirudia sana na una regret.
Unajua okay, to me unajua wakati the moment wakati break news ya kwamba I want to marry her. Nilimwambia my principles are like this. When I decide something I don't go back. No. So when actually she knew that I have this kid and the lady, nilimwambia hawa nimewacha and get it right for me. You'll wait, we'll go 10 years, 20 years and you'll see that I won't.
But you know the problem is there are people who are suspicious. Your partner might do something wrong lakini kumsamehe inakuwa shida.
Inakuwa ngumu.
Kwa sababu una bado unamdoubt.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
what came over you kaamua sasa nimesamehe 100%.
Ilikuwa okay, it took a long time, years. Unajua inafika pale unasema enough is enough. Yeah, and you have seen he's your husband, umepata watoto na yeye, amekuwa akisimama na we, akikusupport your work. It's true, amekuambia haendangi, hataenda, hatapiga simu, hatafanya anything. It reached a time akaniambia ndio huyu muongeleshe, sitaki kuongea na yeye. So I decide nimemsamea, it's over. It is over. Yeah.
Awesome. I have nothing else to add. When you decide you've forgiven, decide it is over. And like he says, when you decide to change, decide the past is over. We all have mistakes. We all do the wrong things. And once in a while, we find ourselves in the wrong shoes. What you need to do is remember that a saint is just a sinner who fell down but got up. You too can get up. And they'll be giving us their parting shots. Tell us, what are the consequences of that?
Okay, the consequences of that is you have to give a lot of affirmations all the time until the day you'll be forgiven. Until you get the forgiveness. And then after forgiveness, you feel, now everything. Hata nilinona. I think there are some photos you'll see nilipiga nikiwa kwa ofisi. Nilirudi round. Hata sasa nimereduce. Nilirudi round. Nilinona because there was no tension in the house. Now I can eat. I can go home and eat. Now several times nilala kwa sofa set. I think if there's a guy outside there who's facing the same thing, lazima amelala kwa sofa set mara mingi because kitanda ni hot.
What would you tell a woman who is feeling like you are feeling I cannot forgive, who's almost packing her bags are ending?
You can forgive. Yeah, you can forgive. It's hard to forgive, but when you let it go, unaishi maisha ya free. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. finally, imagine if you had not forgiven each other, if you'd have parted ways.
Serious.
Children something
Serious.
suffer.
It's very true.
Your vision would have
It's very
suffered.
true because vile tulikuwa tunapitia when I used to shout at him nilikuwa narudi nakaa and I look at those children. They need a father. Yeah. Because they don't have parents. We are like their parents. God ametuweka hapo because of them. So nilikuwa narudi, I ask God to help me and it's by the grace of God. Yeah. We are there because of these children.
Wow.
Yeah, and we are very happy.
And you're still in love.
Yeah,
you
we're
look like
still
Yeah,
in love.
seriously,
Oh, yes.
seriously, we're very okay.
your marriage is intact.
Yeah.
All right, forgive, and not just forgiveness, forgiving and forgetting. That is the way forward for every person who is watching us. You can forgive your loved one, you can forgive your husband or your wife. And like we say, there is nothing in marriage that cannot be forgiven. God bless you. Till we meet next time, same station, same program, I remain Super Waroi, and we declare your marriage must stand.
Love is a beautiful thing, and we'll love you to the end of the world. For better, for worse, till death do us part. Love, love, love. Oh, kwa maisha ya ndoa.